So we're in Unit 4, Lesson 2, and we're looking at shapes and all the different things you can do with shapes. And one of the things we really want to get these guys to understand and to do is to be able to name shapes properly. So you'll see here I have a quadrilateral, meaning 4 sides. And if we look at this, these right here are called vertices. The corners we call vertices. Vertex if you're talking about just one of them. And each vertex will have a letter representing it. And so here we see that we have vertex W, vertex X, vertex Y, and vertex Z. Now when we name a quadrilateral, has 4, 5, 6 sides, it doesn't matter. When we name it, what we do is we start by putting the letter in one corner, and then we follow it around and we keep on going in order of the alphabet. So we go W, X, Y, Z. We're not going to jump around. We're not going to go W and then X over here, Y here, and Z here. We have to go in order of the alphabet when we name them. Okay, so when we're looking at this shape right here, the name of this shape then is, we'd probably name this WXYZ. That is the name of that shape right there. We could also name it X, Y, Z, W, but basically we're always going in order of what they are. So you just follow it, start somewhere, and follow it around. Because when I look at this, I'm expecting X to be one corner and the next corner to be Y, because it came next in the list. So there's a bunch of different names just depending on where you start. We could start with Y and then go around Y, Z, W, X, but we have to go in order of what they're written. Another thing about naming it is if we're talking about a side. Now, this right here is a side. This side is between the corners W and X. So if I have to name that side, this would be side WX, or we could go the other way around, XW. It doesn't really matter what order. Typically, if I'm deciding to do something, I'm going to go in order of what the alphabet says. Another thing in this lesson that we talk about are diagonals. Now, a diagonal is basically if you go from one corner and then you go to another corner that's not next to it. So what I mean by that is, see, this corner is right next to that corner. It's right next in line. And so if I drew a line there, that would not be a diagonal. I have to skip that corner and I can go to another corner. So the diagonal would be the line from this corner to a corner not next to it, or non-adjacent. And so that right there is called a diagonal. Okay, so that's one diagonal. We actually only have one other diagonal in this quadrilateral, and that would be the diagonal XZ. So we have a diagonal XZ, and we have the diagonal WY. Those are the only two diagonals in this quadrilateral. Now, if you have a 5-sided figure, you're going to have more diagonals. It's just that they have to go through the middle of the shape. You don't want them to be on the edge of the shape. You need them to go through the shape when you do that. All right, then another thing that we look at, it's actually in the review on the homework, are the words. And your child should actually know what these words mean. However, I just want to make sure, because these are very important words that they need to know throughout the years. And so the sooner they understand them, the better. So lines that go at the same slope, they never intersect. So if they go on forever in both directions, they'll never intersect. And so, you know, one thing you can do at home is you can just find things that are parallel, whether it's the floor and the ceiling, or if you're driving along Highway 2, the two different roads are parallel to each other and they never run into each other. And so that makes them parallel. Perpendicular lines are two lines that make a right angle. And so I'm going to put a little box here in the corner. Whenever you see a box in the corner of a shape, it means that it's making a right angle or it's 90 degrees. And so kids work a lot on that at school. And it's, again, something you can talk about, you know, in your home, what makes a 90-degree angle or a perpendicular angle. And that would be like the floor and the wall, or the wall and the ceiling make perpendicular angles. And so these are things, if kids can get used to identifying these pretty quickly, it becomes quite a bit easier for them. And then the last thing I want to talk about is a home activity. I'm going to try and give you as many of these as I can, because, you know, sometimes you just want to enhance what we're doing, or just doing fun little things. And so this home activity, it has to do with diagonals. Now, if you get like cardstock, or you get cardboard or something like that, or you can take, you know, a box from noodles and use one of those sides. You know, there's all kinds of cardboard you have in your house, and have the kids just cut out any old quadrilateral. So a 4-sided shape, not necessarily a rectangle, but you can cut out just about anything you want right there. So cut that out. Try and make your lines as straight as possible. Use a ruler or something to draw it. Help them cut it out if they're really young, okay, or if they're not capable of cutting very well, if it's really thick cardboard. But have them do that. Then take a ruler or something straight. And it's really important that you use something straight and you don't just freehand it. And draw the two diagonals on there. So I'm going to draw this diagonal. Now I don't have a ruler on here, but you guys can do that. And draw this diagonal. And then what you can take is right there where the diagonals cross. Okay, if you put a and you put that flat on top. So imagine I have a pencil here, and then I take that shape and I put over it, the diagonals here, and that pencil goes right there where the diagonal is. And you try and balance it on top. It's actually going to balance right there where the diagonals cross. It's the balancing point of that shape. And it doesn't matter what shape you made. If you draw the diagonals, it should balance right on top of there. It's really kind of something cool. And you can try this out with all kinds of different quadrilaterals, four-sided shapes. But if you try it out with a bunch of them, you'll find that as long as you do the diagonals with a straight edge, you're going to find that it'll balance right there where they cross.